Are you still falling for these gardening myths? Let's debunk them today. Gardening is one of those hobbies where people seem to have a ton of advice to offer, but not all of it is good. In fact, a lot of what we hear about taking care of plants is just flat out wrong. If you've been growing plants for a while, you've probably heard some of these myths and maybe even believed them at some point. But here's the thing, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's true. Let's dive into 5 common gardening myths you need to stop believing if you want to have a thriving garden. Myth no 1. You should water plants every day. If you've been gardening for any length of time, you've likely heard this myth: water your plants every day. No exceptions. It's easy to think that plants need constant hydration to survive. After all, we drink water every day, so why wouldn't plants need the same treatment? However, this is one of the most widespread misconceptions in the gardening world. Why this myth is misleading? The truth is, not all plants require daily watering. In fact, watering too often can cause more harm than good. Many gardeners mistakenly believe that watering every day is the key to healthy plants, but the reality is that most plants prefer to dry out between waterings. Overwatering can lead to a variety of problems, including root rot, mold, and fungal growth. Different plants have different watering needs, so it's essential to tailor your watering schedule to the specific types of plants in your garden. For instance, succulents, cacti, and other drought-tolerant plants thrive on infrequent watering, while plants like ferns and begonias may prefer a bit more moisture. However, it's always best to let the top layer of soil dry out before watering again. The science behind it: plants take in water through their roots, but they also lose water through a process called transpiration. When plants are watered too frequently, the roots stay constantly wet, which can lead to a lack of oxygen reaching the roots. This creates an environment where the roots can't properly absorb nutrients, leading to poor growth or even the death of the plant. What you should do instead: the best way to water your plants is to check the soil moisture level before you water. Stick your finger about an inch into the soil. If it feels dry, it's time to water. If it still feels moist, wait a day or 2 before checking again. For most plants, it's better to water deeply and less often than to water a little every day. Deep watering encourages roots to grow deeper into the soil, making your plants more resilient to drought conditions. Myth no 2. Talking to plants helps them grow. This is a myth that sounds a little more magical. Talking to your plants will help them grow. You may have heard gardeners say that their plants respond positively to being spoken to, but is there any truth to this idea? The belief that plants can hear and respond to human speech has been around for a long time, but it's more folklore than science. What science has to say about it? While plants don't have ears, vocal cords, or a nervous system, they do respond to their environment in other ways. They can sense light, gravity, temperature, and even touch. But they don't hear the words we say. In fact, plants don't even have the biological mechanisms necessary to interpret sound the way animals or humans do. However, plants are incredibly sensitive to their surroundings. Some studies suggest that vibrations from sound waves can have a slight impact on plant growth, but this isn't about the content of what we say. It's about the physical vibrations in the environment. But even with this, the impact is minimal and not something you should rely on for healthy plant growth. What really helps plants grow? The most significant factors that affect plant growth are water, light, temperature, and nutrients. Plants also rely on their roots for nutrient absorption and their leaves for photosynthesis. If you want your plants to thrive, it's better to focus on their physical needs. Ensure they get enough light, water them appropriately, and feed them with the right nutrients. Talking to your plants may be therapeutic for you, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, spending time with your plants, inspecting them, and showing them care can help you spot problems early. But your plants won't grow faster or healthier just because you've told them they look good today. Myth no 3. Organic pesticides are always safe for plants and soil. Organic gardening is all about working with nature, but that doesn't mean everything labeled as organic is completely safe. One myth that often circulates in gardening circles is that organic pesticides are harmless to plants and soil. Many gardeners turn to organic pesticides in an effort to avoid chemicals, thinking they're automatically safe. Unfortunately, that's not always the case. What makes organic pesticides different? Organic pesticides are typically made from natural substances like plant extracts, oils, or minerals. Some examples include neem oil, diatomaceous earth, and insecticidal soap. While these products are often less toxic than synthetic chemicals, they still have the potential to harm your plants if misused. For example, neem oil is a commonly used organic pesticide that can kill a wide range of insects. However, if applied too frequently or in direct sunlight, neem oil can cause leaf burn and damage to your plants. Similarly, insecticidal soap, while safe for many plants, can strip away essential oils and cause dehydration in some plant species if overused. The potential risks. Another risk is the impact on beneficial insects like bees, ladybugs, and butterflies. These insects help maintain a healthy garden ecosystem by pollinating flowers and preying on pests. Some organic pesticides, when used improperly, can harm these important insects, which could end up doing more harm than good. While organic pesticides are often safer than chemical alternatives, they are not without risks. It's important to read the labels, follow instructions, and use them only when necessary. Consider non-chemical alternatives such as encouraging natural predators or using insecticidal soaps sparingly to keep your garden as safe and healthy as possible. Myth No. 4. You can grow anything in any type of soil. One of the most dangerous gardening myths is that soil isn't that important and that you can grow anything anywhere. If you've ever heard someone say, "Oh, you can just plant it in the ground and it'll grow fine," you know exactly what I'm talking about. This myth is especially common among beginners, but it's not true. The type of soil you have plays a massive role in plant health. Why soil type matters. There are 3 basic types of soil: sand, silt, and clay. Each type has its own characteristics, and not all of them are suitable for every plant. Sandy soil drains quickly and doesn't hold nutrients well, while clay soil tends to retain water and can become compacted, preventing roots from breathing. Silt soil is more fertile but can become too sticky and slow to drain. Plants have specific needs based on the type of soil they thrive in. For instance, vegetables like tomatoes and peppers do best in well-drained, nutrient-rich soil. On the other hand, plants like hostas or ferns prefer slightly more moisture-retentive soils. How to work with your soil. Understanding the soil in your garden is the first step to growing healthy plants. If your soil is too sandy, add organic matter like compost to help it retain nutrients. If you have clay soil, consider adding sand or peat moss to improve drainage. If the soil is too heavy or acidic for the plants you want to grow, you may need to amend it with lime or other soil conditioners. Not all soil is created equal, and if you want your plants to thrive, you need to understand the specific needs of the plants you're growing and ensure the soil supports those needs. Always test your soil's pH and texture to determine how to amend it for optimal plant growth. Myth No. 5. Fertilizer is all your plants need to grow. Finally, let's talk about the myth that fertilizer is the solution to all your gardening problems. Many gardeners think that if their plants aren't growing well, the answer is just to throw some fertilizer on them. While fertilizer can certainly help boost plant growth, it's not a cure-all, the overuse of fertilizer. When you use too much fertilizer, it can cause more harm than good. Over-fertilizing can lead to nutrient imbalances in the soil, burning the plant's roots, and even causing the plant to grow too quickly, resulting in weak, leggy growth. Too much nitrogen, in particular, can encourage lush, green growth but inhibit flowering or fruiting. What plants really need? Plants need a balance of water, light, and nutrients. Fertilizer should be seen as a supplement to good soil, not as a replacement for it. Healthy soil that's rich in organic matter naturally provides many of the nutrients plants need. If your soil is lacking in essential nutrients, a small amount of fertilizer can help, but over-fertilizing can cause more harm than benefit. Fertilizer is just one piece of the puzzle. A balanced approach that includes proper watering, soil management, and pest control is key to long-term gardening success. Focus on building healthy, nutrient-rich soil and use fertilizer only when needed, according to the specific needs of your plants. There you have it, the 5 gardening myths you need to stop believing right now. If you've been making these mistakes in your garden, don't worry. With the right knowledge and a little bit of effort, you can correct them and start seeing healthier plants and a more successful garden. Remember, gardening is all about understanding the needs of your plants and creating an environment that helps them thrive. Keep learning, keep experimenting, and most importantly, enjoy the process. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more gardening tips and tricks. Happy gardening!